I've left the normal lure boxes at home.
Yeah.
We've got to catch them on these things.
Oh no, come on mate.
There's one reason Trevor is here. He does know trout and he's an artist.
Freezing cold, rugged up to the nines with my watercolour brushes out, trying to come up with some decent looking designs that will actually catch fish, and as quick as I possibly could so I could get the gloves back on the hands.
On this episode of the AFN Fishing Show, Nige and Trevor paint up their own lures and search for a feed of fish. Can their crafty artwork entice a bite, or will everyone be left cold and hungry? Then Bill Classon's off to Flinders Island to get in on the gummy shark action.
It's the start of another fishing trip. Today we're in the New South Wales Highlands, Lake Trout country, and I'm with my good mate Trevor Hawkins, who I'm surprised comes fishing with me these days. Because every time I invite him, he ends up with some weird and wonderful mission. Today's no different, Trev.
All right, here we go.
I've left the normal lure boxes at home.
Yeah.
We've got to catch them on these things.
Oh no, come on mate.
We have the Pandora's box, the Trick Bits box. The boys at Atomic have come up with this trick system, cool. Trick Bits,
cool.
Which is all about pimping up your lures.
Yep.
We've got things like coloured pens, we've got paints. I know there's one reason Trevor is here. He does know trout and he's an artist. We've got to catch 3 fish, and if we do, we get to enjoy hopefully a feed of fresh caught fish on the sides of a mountain lake.
So it's all relying on me painting them.
It's relying on you, and the reward is the boys at Angove Wines have given us one of their finer Chardonnays. Beautiful. To hopefully wash down.
Beautiful. A
good feed of fish. Because this challenge involved painting, and I'm not that good at art, I thought, well, who's my favourite artist that I love putting through the works? Trevor Hawkins.
Catching the trout's hard enough, but actually painting lures on the spot and come up with a design that was going to suit the trout and Nigel was pushing it a little bit, but I was up for the challenge. We've got these, Trev, different sizes. Yes. What are we going to paint? What do you reckon? Well, you're doing all the hard work, you're painting, so... Well, I think with lure fishing and fly fishing for that matter, while bright lures are very effective at times, I think anglers need to consider the natural bait fish or insects that trout are feeding on. It's just a new season, so I reckon there's going to be a lot of little rainbow trout and juvenile rainbows and browns around, so I reckon we do one of each pattern. Yep. And get you to give me a hand if I can. Yep, no worries. So we'll put some base colours down and then we'll work up and... we'll just dry them here in our little drying racks. Yep. And put the eyes on. I've got some Gamakatsu hooks there, we're going to retrofit them. So we found ourselves sitting along the edge of a Highland lake, freezing cold, rugged up to the nines with my watercolour brushes out, trying to come up with some decent looking designs that will actually catch fish, and as quick as I possibly could so I could get the gloves back on the hands. And they came out pretty good considering the conditions that we were working under. Beautiful bite weather at the moment, so crack on mate. You better get going then, fast. Let's go. Faster than Michelangelo painting that little church that he did. I've been painting as long as I can remember, anything from landscapes to abstracts, self-taught. Probably what I'm recognised for is my angling art. There is illustrating of books, painting fish, painting birds, any animal or flora that's found close to trout waters, basically. Trevor's one of the best fish artists I've ever come across. He's just got a real knack for knowing the shape of fish, but very much getting their colours right, which I think is one of the hard aspects of painting fish. So when it comes to not just fish painting, but general watercolours, he's second to none when it comes to putting something on a canvas. The weatherman said this is not going to hang around, which always concerns you when I'm trout fishing, because once it gets clear and bright, it has been a tough bite, so I reckon we make hay while the sun isn't shining. Cool, fantastic.
Coming up, Nige and Trevor aim to make the most of the cloud cover, but will dropping some fish cost them too much time?
That was a good one. Fishing can go from being very, very tough to having heaps of active fish based on a weather change. Ideal conditions are windy, dark, so you want good cloud cover. A good southerly wind or a northerly wind will make fish active. We had the remainder of a cold front passing through. It was going to be around 12 or 2 o'clock, the weatherman said it's going to start warming up. You're going to have some wind backing out and you'll be facing glassy conditions. So we really had to start putting runs on the board early because the moment that sun started coming out, it was going to get tough. For our first few casts of the day, we've headed down to the windward side of the lake. We've got about a 10-knot sou'wester, good cloud cover, it's good trout conditions. And I've come straight into a shallow area of the lake. You can tell by the shape of the bank up here, it's obviously a shallow section. We've got low-lying banks, good bit of weed here. It's a classic yabby bed scenario, so it's a good place early in the day with low light like this to find some cruising fish. We're just going to pepper this area with some of these newly painted lures. I've got a little rainbow trout pattern. Trev's gone with the brown, cover some bases. And mate, it's definitely cool enough for trout, Trev.
It sure is, mate.
We're a bit concerned if the paint job would hinder the action. We whacked a bit of paint on, but they swim beautifully.
Yeah, they're swimming real nice.
Yeah. Oh, and another
Mate.
hit. That was a good one. Right at the boat, Trev.
Well done, mate. Right out of the way.
Right at the boat. He's no monster, but he's a starter. He's a yearling. We call it yearling around here. He looks like he's been on the lake for about a year. He's hooked side on, that's what got him going. Nice one. That's a good little look there, mate, the brown and the rainbow. He's obviously got a thing against rainbows, this one.
I should be catching the rainbow there, mate, no worries.
He's a beautiful little fish, Trev, and typically he's straight back in the water, but today we do plan on having a feed this evening, and Trev loves the little pan-sized cookers. They do cook up fantastically well.
Rather let the big ones go, mate, and keep a couple of littlies for the pan.
And he's 36 centimetres, Trev.
Yep, beautiful, mate.
He's dinner for Trevor and Nige later. Yeah, I got one, mate.
Go get another one. Okay.
One way to keep your lure in the water for a long period of time, cover a lot of ground, is to troll. And these little lures make ideal trolling options. Just looking for banks that suit our diving depth. These lures are diving down around that 1 to 3 metre category. So we're looking for weed edges in that 2 to 4 metre depth, which means those lures are going to be down amongst the fish that are coming in to feed in those areas. It's a case then of a nice walking speed. Get one lure 15, 20 metres behind the boat, one a bit further. And we'll sit back, Trev, and wait and see what happens. So easy. Oh, there's a fall. Oh.
Fish?
Yep. Yep. Little fella. There we go, Trev.
There you go, mate.
Yeah. Big extensive weed flat here. It just looked like a great place to relax for a little trolling run. These lures make for ideal casting and retrieving and trolling lures. They dive to an ideal depth. They're not big fish at the moment, but as Trev liked to call them, they're scoring fish. And when we're playing for a numbers game, trolling's a great way to do it. Almost all different. It's the red spots and that.
He's a pretty little fish. Look at the colour.
Fish. Yeah, he's a bit small. He's a 30. He's a legal fish. He's legal in New South Wales, but he's going home because I just dropped him in the water for you. Oops, he got away.
Good one, mate.
Go on, Trev, I don't know. He crash tackled it. Seems to be a lot of yearling sized fish in this bay as well, but we came here for numbers. When it comes to a game, what's on the board?
He might be a thumper, mate, playing doggo.
Playing cricket, my dad always said when you're batting, it's runs. It's like money in the bank.
Need the net? No, he's not a bad fish.
Oh,
Mate.
he fell.
He come off.
Oh!
Mate. Well done, mate.
Got him, Trev. Hit that little right at the boat. I haven't had a good look at him yet. Just that little twitch and pause. He got aerial straight away and then he back in the water. I thought I'd missed him for a second.
That's a rainbow. You bit of toe on him.
Little 1 to 3 kilo outfits, 6 pound braid, 6 pound leaders, and our little trick bits. Trevor's pimped up lures. Trevor's pimping.
Done all the work, mate.
It's pretty impressive to think you can paint your own lure off.
Yeah.
In the car park at first light, Trev's a bit of a connoisseur of fly fisherman. He likes letting the big ones go and eating the pan-sized ones, and this is very much what Trev calls, these are my pallet fish.
Yeah.
Yes! Well, on the scoreboard, we're allowed a sip of white wine with our fish now. Well, mate, we've got a feed, we've got our numbers, and I reckon some big fish live in these bays. Or we can go and see if we can up the ante now and
get a big release one. Yeah.
Okay, let's crack into gear.
Cool.
After the break, with the sky clearing and the sun coming out, is there enough time to catch that one big fish?
There's 2 lure blanks we've predominantly painted up, and they are the 45 and the 60 deep minnow from within the atomic range. We've obviously created handy little rainbow and brown trout patterns. The other thing we are sticking on occasionally, just to make those lures suspend, is our sticky weights. They're obviously a lure that is designed to get slightly deeper. It's not completely shallow running. They're very easy lures to work if you want to cast and retrieve them. You want to obviously get them across to where the fish are, get that rod tip down low pretty quickly, and then pull that lure down to diving depth. Then once it's down there, give it a bit of a pause, relatively slow retrieve, just working the rod, kicking that lure down in the water column, giving it an agitated style action with those pauses thrown in that not just trout, any predatory fish is going to love to hone in on. They'll very often eat on the pause, so don't be shy to leave those pauses in there, and just keep working that lure through those key depths all the way from strike zone through to the boat. A lot of fish will come out of their strike zone and very often hit just before you're about to pull it up out of the water. So continue that retrieve all the way through. Maintain a tight line so you feel those bites and you can lift the rod the moment a fish grabs it. Keep on working them. If you've got your colours right, which Trevor's done a pretty good job of, you're going to be catching those fish in no time. Oh, that's a good looking spot right there. He's crash tackled at the boat. Oh, there you go. I tail wrap him. That's how you catch him, Trev.
Good.
Tail wrap him. Nice little brown. Just changed lure type because things have gone a little bit quiet. And I went for the 60 deep minnow. Just went a bit deeper and a bit more aggressive. Get him in the net. Thank you very much. Beautiful. Another one of your masterpieces.
Yeah, that's a brown trout.
It's coming through with the goods. 3 big chunks of sticky weight on there, and what I was doing is really whipping that lure down and just getting it to pause, and it was right beneath the boat. Dive deep, big bib on them, get a good twitch action, and on that pause he's come along and crashed it. Beautiful fish, mate. And you know who's going to be really happy with this? The cameraman.
Yeah, we're going to feed him.
Because he was complaining before, going, well, you guys have got your 2 fish. And suddenly, Davo, it's all good, we're looking out for you, mate. We've got fish for Dave as well.
There you go. Pretty much spot on. Mind you, that brown trout, they can be full on silver as well, and they can be darker browns and so forth, but that just happens to, that's almost the perfect match, that one.
You've done well, mate.
Yeah.
I think he liked it. The day had largely gone to plan. We obviously managed to catch some fish early on in the piece, and they were good eating sized fish, so we're all happy. We've ticked the box. We know we've got the feed. We've won our reward. But there's still this nagging little bit of pride sitting with both Trev and I, where we wanted to catch a big fish just to really prove that our designs were worth the mustard. The day was starting to glass out, sun was coming out, and we could feel that the fish bite had stopped, and we're at the point where we're starting to look for a good place to set up camp and just having a few last casts at some rocky headlands when the day took a very nice turn. Stay on. Shaking his head at me a lot, Trev.
Yeah.
Got a bit of adrenaline going, Trev.
Right.
Just that little rocky point. I've gone for that bigger 60 minnow
That
and the brown trout pattern.
Trout one again.
Really big suspend, just jerk and big pauses. It was like a barra bite on a big pause. He's come and crash tackled it. That's a nice fish, dude. Look at that.
Oh, big fish, mate.
Yeah, it's a
big
good fish.
fish.
When he crunched it, as soon as he hit it, I went, I think this is a better one, Trev.
Oh, he's a good fish.
We've had a couple fall off today. Look at that.
He's got it one side or the other, mate. Did it through that?
Yes!
Mate, that's what it's all about.
We have worked hard for that. That makes it well worth getting up early, Trev. Yep. Getting your hands exceedingly cold this morning. And how satisfying is that to get out, design your own lures, paint them up, and on the very same day, crack a fish like this. You don't have to get out there and paint them on your same day. We just made it a little bit tougher than we really had to because we do like a challenge.
Gave ourselves a challenge.
We do, but sitting in your little warm office at home of a night time, coming up with those wonderful little colour schemes you can design up. You can now go and paint and throw out whatever species you choose to go out and hunt. And speaking of hunting, that is why we come up here to places like that to hunt species like that. You can't beat that. I reckon we've ticked the box. I think we've earned our shardy with our trout today. Starting to sound like a fly fisherman. That can't be good. I better stop before it gets any worse. We'll get him back in the water.
Beautiful fish, mate. Beautiful.
There he goes. That is so very cool. What a pretty fish.
They're bloody beautiful, aren't they? They are gorgeous.
That just makes the day.
Yeah, bloody hell.
And to have it on your own lure, very satisfying. Let's go and try and catch another one. And then we go find a good place to light a fire. Sound good?
Sounds good. Fresh trout and shardy.
When it comes to having your resident bushy with you, Trevor's always a great one to take along. He loves getting his fire going. He's meticulous with his preparation for food. And so he's definitely a must if you're packing for a feed at the end of a fishing trip.
We got a few fish through the day, but the highlight to me was seeing that big buck brown come up with the brown trout lure that I painted, cross his jaws like a dog with a bone. It was a great feeling, and when we got him up out of the water, the comparison of the coloration of that large fish to the lure was uncanny. It was a great feeling, and it was a perfect example of what matching the hatch, if you like, is it all about, whether it be lures or flies.
And what better way to end a day where you've created your own products, put them into action, you've experienced some success, and then taking a magnificent snow mountain view, enjoying the freshest feed of fish, washed down with not a bad little tipple as well.
Still to come, Bill Classon takes a trip to Flinders Island and fishes some fresh bait in search of some gummy sharks. Flinders Island in Bass Strait is truly a mountain in the sea, now a remnant of the land bridge between Tasmania and the mainland. Today, around 900 people live on the island. Tour operators Kirkhope Aviation organise regular angling expeditions to the island, and the flight from Melbourne's Moorabbin Airport over Wilson's Promontory and onto Flinders is spectacular. Fishing is from the picturesque fishing port of Lady Barron, where charter boat skipper James Luddington is based with his 10-metre power cat. Bill Classon had heard that Flinders had one of the best gummy shark fisheries bar none, so when the opportunity came to join a crew on the Straight Lady, he was there.
Well, today I'm at Flinders Island with James Luddington, who's a local charter boat operator. And James, how long have you been fishing Flinders Island for?
It's over 35 years now, so I'm starting to find my way around.
Now, I've also heard that this is the best place in Australia to catch my favourite eating fish, the gummy shark.
That we should be able to do. It's a wonderful place for gummies and school shark. They should be on the menu.
Well, mate, you've won me.
Sounds like the challenge is on, Bill, so we better go and do it.
Don't they bite light? Look at them play. Here it goes.
You got him. You got him. Good man. Good man.
Yes. James is certainly getting us amongst these fish now. Rolling around all over the shop.
Head to the net. Well done.
Not the biggest fish, but certainly the fittest. And that's just taken a squid ring. Very, very strong fish and great eating fish. A couple of rigs you can use for gummy sharks when you're fishing down here at Flinders Island. The rig I prefer is a single paternoster and a fairly long drop, probably about 600 millimetres to the hook. In this case, I'm using the new Mustad Octopus medium gauge circle hooks, which are just ideal for gummy sharks. Ideal baits for gummy sharks, salmon, cut a really neat little strip bait like that. Thin at the top and then just pass the circle hook just through the bait like so. If you have your thick end at the top and your thin end at the bottom, it'll cause the bait to spin, so you just make yourself a really nice little aerodynamic bait just like that. Another great bait for gummy sharks here is fresh squid. Take the head out, take the wings off, get the hood like that. When you're fishing for gummy sharks on the turn of the tide, this can make all the difference. And here we go again, guys. There's plenty of them down there. Now the trick to hooking these gummies is just hold the rod and let them hook themselves. They're a very light biter. If you use circles, you get them in the side of the mouth every time. There you go, James. Tough fish, mate.
Strong, aren't
And I've
they?
got to say, my favourite eating fish. I reckon
Look.
flake is lovely.
Bill, that's about the perfect size for eating. That is a really nice bit of bass straight flake. The trick with these fellas for good eating is as soon as you get them in, pacifier to put them out of their misery with that, and then you've got to bleed them. It's most important to get the blood out of your gummy sharks. So we take the fins off with the fins underneath. We take the head off and we take the guts out of the gut cavity. And just a little trim there in the gill area because the gills hold blood. The next stage, when you can fillet them, looks easy, bit of practice you can do it. So we go down the backbone, sharp knife's handy as well. Down underneath the backbone, and the backbone comes out. Next thing we have is the flap. That's quite edible. Run the skin off. Take the fillet that size probably into 3 pieces. We've now got nice small gummy shark fillets. It's absolutely fresh. Rinse in the bin in seawater and then onto the ice.
Well, James, I've got to say, I really enjoyed my day out with you. The boys too, I'm sure, just loved the gummy shark fishing, which was just amazing. Thank you very much.
Well done.
Your gummy shark's great. I'm going to take some back, you fry some up and enjoy it.
For more information or to organise a trip to Flinders Island, contact the tour operators at Kirkhope Aviation on 1300 20 61 30.
It's Bill Classon here from The Fishing Show, and if you like this instructional video and want to learn more, it's simple. Go to fishingshowtv.com.au and see a whole host of additional videos.